Welcome. This is We Have It on Draft. I'm Monty. This is my co-host Ryan Sundry,
Hi, what's up?
and this is the first episode of a year-round NFL draft podcast. So
Fuck
we
yeah, it
start,
is.
yeah, starting it first day of the NFL offseason. And for all you guys who are nerds like us and just cannot wait till the NFL draft comes around every year and just scout these rookies around from the draft 7, listen to the
Preach,
podcast for you.
preach, preach. I agree. I think it's gonna be a good podcast. We like to think we're pretty well informed. We've been doing mock drafts since sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, a long time ago. Probably, for 8 years plus. I mean, there's some years you do more scouting than other years, but I mean,
Yeah,
overall, I mean, we've done our research, we've made our predictions. Me and you both had a couple guys who we were real high on, where the rest of the community was low on, and we just got lucky, I guess. But there's a little bit of research that goes in that.
yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't really understand why they have Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and not us, but it's fine. Whatever. I'm not
Did
here
you
to point
hear about
fingers.
that shit about Mel Kiper getting in trouble for paying for people paying to put the guys higher
I
on the shelf.
did. I did. I saw it off of like a pro football sports, and I was like, I don't know if I can really cite this.
Apparently, it's true. So
I
yeah,
would.
don't listen to him. Listen to us. We're taking over
Agreed.
this shit.
Agreed. Yeah, this is going to be our show soon. So if you want to shout out Todd McKiper, uh, no Kuiper, just let him know his job's in serious trouble. Anyway,
I,
Monty, just tell him what we're doing today.
yeah. So we're gonna just do a little. We're gonna get into this a little bit. Wider variety of stuff. Not too much draft stuff this time. We're gonna dive into that more next week. We're just gonna catch up on some of the off-season stuff that started already that we're missing. We're gonna recap the Super Bowl. We're gonna talk about the Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins stuff. No, that kind of crap, and a little bit of NFL coaches and that stuff. So
All stuff that drastically does impact the draft more.
yeah, it does have a really big impact, and we're gonna talk about that a little more. Uh, Apologize beforehand if there's not enough energy. We're doing this about 12 o'clock at night, but I
Yeah,
promise
that's
you,
that's my fault.
I promise you, there we have it on draft is named
Monkey.
for it's a beer reference as much as a draft reference. So we're gonna have some fun on this.
Mostly beer.
Yeah.
Do you want to just kick it off? I mean, we just had the Super Bowl. I'm actually coming at you live from Philly because I'm dedicated like that. Monty stayed in West Virginia for some reason.
Are you alive?
I live here.
Did your house get looted?
I'm surprised it didn't. But
Did walking into like
you scratched up. You scratched up a little bit. Repeat that question. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I really can't hear you. I'm not kidding. It's an oil pepper, so it's fine. But I can't hear you.
talking?
I hear you now. I hear you now.
Well, that's because I unplugged my headphones. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. What happened there, man?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, oh, fuck happened. All right, we'll have to
All
have
right,
Tony
cool.
cut that.
Yeah. Haley's texting me. She's like, "Oh, you're trying to make jokes." I'm like, "No, but I'm actually pretty glad our house didn't get looted. That's pretty cool."
All right, so let's Tenorio. We're gonna cut it back in three, two, one. Alrighty, so let's just dive into our first topic. What do you think about Foles, man?
I mean, it was kind of something like I remember when Carson Wentz got hurt, and because it was a huge game, it was the Los Angeles Rams Philadelphia Eagles game, and that was like the game of the season, and it was in all respects, it kind of was. I mean, that was a fucking it was a shootout between two young quarterbacks, number one, number two, respectively. But and we said this right when it happened. We're like, they can still win a Super Bowl, man. They're not a bad team, and Nick Foles is not a bad quarterback, dude.
No, we said it.
So
I mean,
I
he
mean,
was
this
good
was
at
just
one
the
point
one
in
thing.
time.
He was, and then until he went to Jeff Fisher. I think this just shows like Jeff Fisher, like he just sucked because Nick Foles went. He was on the Eagles. He had that game where he threw 7 touchdowns. He worked in an offense that Chip Kelly wasn't really his kind of offense, but I guess it could be. But I mean, it just. I mean, I didn't. To be fair, I didn't think he was gonna do this good, but I knew he was gonna be good. I knew he was gonna be competent, like a little better than competent
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah, no, he was definitely not going to be like the normal backup quarterback. I mean, but when you look at it and you see Case Keenum and you see Jared Goff and you see the kind of production they had under Jeff Fisher and what they came this year, you knew that you could not count what Jeff Fisher's offense did to him against them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I mean, and that's kind of makes me want to see I want to see Austin Davis get a shot. There was the kicker article we think Austin Davis should start. I'm like, somebody should sign him. Why not? I mean, the Fisher thing, they just ruined him, man. Jared Goff was garbage when he was there. One season of Sean McVay, he looks like fucking, Tom Brady out there. Not really.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, man. I mean, but he looked good. Like his throw, it was more like when you watch him, he was putting some of those like deep balls on a fucking dime. I mean,
That
he
throw to
looked
Jeffrey in the first, oh my god.
that was incredible. When I look at that guy, I see a guy who could become a starting quarterback in this league, and that's incredible.
No, and that's another thing too. I saw a lot of memes. They were like, when you lose to a backup quarterback. I'm like, and Nick Foles, with much respect, he has proven that he's not just a backup quarterback.
I
Like,
mean, man,
that's just it's not true. And I remember when I used to do this, I used to put Nick Foles and Mike Glennon in the same category. Not anymore. Fuck no.
yeah,
You
man.
can't.
It's not so much that it's like, oh, like they got lucky. Like they beat the Patriots, man. That's a good team.
I
Like
know. Oh, I know, dude. That shut me up, dude. That's you beat the Patriots by more than a touchdown.
all I can say is, I mean, the Eagles were, I mean, they were a good team and all, but there was nothing that was just Nick Foles being carried. I mean, he threw for 373 yards that game, three touchdowns. Like he earned that
He
game.
contribute. Yeah, I mean, how many interceptions? Zero? No,
Zero.
one. One.
No.
One because of
Yeah, one.
Jeffrey.
So the one that
That
Jeffrey
wasn't his fault
kept
because
in there.
Jeffrey scooped it back into play, which you shouldn't do. I'm not an
That was
NFL
stupid.
receiver, but I'm not gonna blame it on Foles, dude. That's not his fault.
So the one thought here is a lot of people are like, oh well, where is he going to sign now? He still has another year under contract with Philadelphia. What do you think happens?
I think they're gonna trade him just because of this reason. You're not gonna sit Nick Foles down and be like, okay, let's resign you to a backup. He's like, well, I'm just gonna go start.
Oh, for
Like
sure. I mean,
I'm
there's
not gonna
definitely he's
fucking.
not resigning as a backup, but
And you can't blame him. You cannot blame him. And I think the Eagles should trade him at best because as much as I mean, if I was a GM in my fucking wet dream world, I would love to have Nick Foles as my backup. He doesn't want to be, and that's just a toxic locker room to have him as your
I
backup.
I don't think that it'd be a problem having him as a backup for another year. I mean, especially with Wentz coming off injury, I think there's something to be said. I think there's positives that bring Nick Foles with your quarterback coming off an ACL injury. But at the same time, if you can get a second, third round pick out of this guy,
Yeah, just do it.
you gotta take it when you can.
I mean, you have to think too because and also in Nick Foles' position as well, when he's coming in, he has to think. Let's say Carson Wentz. Let's say he stays healthy. Like you have to think that Nick Foles sits out for a year. People are gonna forget this hype. They're just gonna fucking forget that Nick Foles won the
Recency
Super Bowl.
bias, man.
What's that?
Recency bias.
No, I know, but
No,
everyone's
I
gonna be
know it.
like, I
Listen,
mean, the thing is that no one's gonna remember. I hate saying that no one's gonna remember. They're gonna remember, and it's gonna be a little side note. But no one's gonna be on this hype train. He's gonna get so much hype because of this. He just came off a Super Bowl. He's under he beat Tom Brady. This is the time to
hmm
trade him right now. Let's say you try to trade him middle of the season. People are gonna kind of be forgetful. They're gonna be like, well, why do we want Nick Foles? They're like, oh, well, the playoff game. They'll be like, well, that was a while ago. He hasn't played that long, so I don't know. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts, man?
yeah, man. I agree. I think that Eagles team that's already so good and has possibly the best young quarterback in this league and Wentz. I think you're only making this
Easy.
team better by getting some draft assets out of Nick Foles, who was honestly a worthless asset before he took over his starting job.
Oh yeah, and I remember your best friend Mike Missanelli. I remember he said, I was listening
That
to the
guy.
radio. Yeah, I know you do. I was listening to the radio, and he was like, "Do I trust Nick Foles to have this team win more than 3 games?" No, and I'm like, he just won 6. He won
Yeah.
6 for you guys. 3 of them were the most important in this franchise's history. Because this was, I think, I don't know what to think because it's like, what do? You have 2 capable quarterbacks, and you can say whatever you want about Nick Foles. He's a good quarterback. You can say, oh well, it's the system, it's the running backs. No, dude, he's just a good quarterback. I would just trade him as soon as you can, man. As soon as it comes available, because teams are probably asking right now, they're like, what can we fucking give you for Nick Foles? Which was not a question you'd think they would be asking. I think you can easily go late first. I think the Steelers should try to fucking grab him.
I think that's a tough one, man. With a guy who's going to be a free agent next year and has just a large sample of him being bad and a small sample of him being good. I mean, what do you think like Case Keenum would trade for? I don't think you'd get a first for Case Keenum.
No, you wouldn't. You know why? Because he got blown out 38-7.
Yeah, but he has an entire year of a resume while Foles has like 3 shitty regular season games and a good playoff.
That's true, but then a lot of Case Keenum was kind of overshadowed by that Vikings defense.
Mm-hmm.
So people would always be like, "Oh, well, the Vikings defense." No, I mean it's fair, but I think like a late 25 plus, if they're like, "Well, you know what, man, like this quarterback, that's going to put us over."
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like at that point, you're stupid not to do it.
Yeah,
it's the same thing about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, is he worth a first? He absolutely is worth a first.
Yeah, I thought that was stupid.
Not saying Nick Foles is Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, I understand. So where do you think he's going to
go? It's funny because, we talked about this earlier. Like Kirk Cousins, makes things worse for Kirk Cousins now, or any quarterback trying to get a job right now. Where do I think Nick Foles is going to go? That's tough. I would thought maybe the Cardinals.
Cardinals makes a lot of sense to me.
Cardinals make a lot, and also too, it's like the new head coach and kind of shape his quarterback. He kind of has his clean slate, just come off a Super Bowl run. I was thinking the Chargers maybe, just get rid of Philip Rivers now. Not that Philip Rivers is bad, but
I don't know. Philip Rivers had a good season, man. I think that's I don't like that move. I like the Cardinals. I mean, there's not a single quarterback in the Cardinals roster right now. They don't have a great draft pick to go get one.
They did just well enough to not get a good quarterback.
It's tough, man. I mean, the Cardinals, I could see that's a big one. I could see the Broncos if they strike out on Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah, I can see. I mean, I'm thinking that the 2 quarterbacks that people are trying to get now are Kirk Cousins and Nick Foles.
Hey, maybe the Buffalo Bills. Maybe the Bills see
Foles
beat Patriots, and by getting rid of Tyrod, maybe they like, hey, if we can get a good
twice
defense.
A year, man. Twice a year.
Hey,
Big Dick Nick. Be bad at all. Big Dick Nick. Yeah, heard that chant all night.
Yeah. All right.
Haley's informed me that later she'd like to come on the podcast. So after we do our little talks, we'll get her on.
All right.
What did you think I was trying to do before?
You were putting stuff in my ear, which I did not appreciate.
I was just trying to get part of it.
All right. So now we have Foles.
This is gonna be a nightmare for Tenorio to edit.
Yeah, it is gonna be a nightmare for him to edit, but I don't care. It's not our editing job. Sorry, Tenorio. Love you, buddy. All right, so we just got off of Willie got traded.
The next topic I wanted to dive into was there was an interview with Gronkowski after the game, and they asked him about his future. And I don't want to quote him here, but he said something to the sense of, I don't know where you heard that from, but yeah, I'm going to reevaluate this offseason. So he didn't say he was coming back, and there was something about him reevaluating. I mean, coming off concussion, that's not something the Patriots want to hear.
That's such a New England professional response. I'm going to reevaluate. And because it could take it either way. It could be like, okay, well, I did just get my head rattled, so I might not want to come back.
That's true, but at the same time, you hear Brady and Belichick asking about it. They're like, I'm planning on playing football. Like, that was not like I'm planning on playing football. That's like, we don't know, but maybe I won't play kind of thing. I don't know. I take that as a bad thing for me. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries. He had the disc hernia, the forearm fracture, the the back fracture, the ACL tear, the
Yeah, he's a big
concussion,
guy. He's a big guy, man. Throwing himself around like
MCL
that.
tear, yeah, and a lot of things. Another disc hernia and another concussion. Like that's a lot of injuries, and a second concussion is something to worry about in the NFL.
Yeah, I know, especially as a tight end. I mean, to just go back to what you said about Brady and Bill, I think it's a little different because they are the dignified leaders of that team. I know Gronk is a leader, but like you don't want to hear your QB. You never want to hear your QB like, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's getting to that point where you expect to hear those kind of answers from Brady, and he's just, I'm playing. That's
That's
how he's
that's his
always.
magic, dude. Dude, you got to give it up to him, man. Like he lost Cooks. He didn't have Edelman all season. Let's just go to the Super Bowl. He threw for like 500 yards. That's
Yeah, he did.
crazy.
I don't know.
That's
With
crazy.
with Brady, I kind of like if he won this year, I would have said he should have gone out on top. But I mean, at the same time, that's not
He
the
can
kind of
still
guy
leave.
he is.
Yeah,
He's gonna go out when he literally looks like dog shit. I think he's gonna play till he can't play anymore.
yeah. I mean, and like I know we were just texting about this because of the Lions beat writers article. Like I don't think he'll play till 50. I doubt he'll play the 45. But I think he's going to keep
No,
playing till he just dies,
yeah. I mean, the thing is, everyone talks
metaphorically
about like
dies.
Brady can play forever. He's invincible. The thing is, they're like, oh, like I mean, he's playing the best football he's ever played. You know what? Who's played the best football they ever played? Peyton Manning when he broke every single NFL season record
Oh
and
yeah,
then was
the
dog
next
shit
the
like a
next season
next
he was
season.
horrible.
Or Brett Favre, who threw for like career highs on the Vikings, and then literally first time he like missed games in his career and was just dog shit. I mean, these
Oh, with the
guys,
Jets.
Father Time can just hit you like that. It's not a like
Yeah,
when
it's
you
not.
are have it all here and you still have it physically, you're gonna play the best football you ever have. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's bad radio. I'm pointing at my head here, but um,
it's bad radio because you just said you pointed at your head. We could have just gone on that forever. I've been scratching my nuts for like the past 20 minutes.
well, no, I mean I said like I have it here, but
Oh, no, you're right. Now Ryan just pulled bad radio. Don't
yeah.
edit this scenario. I think it's fine though because it's the Peyton Manning is the perfect example. Did we? Because everyone's like Peyton Manning suck, and then he just balled out on these hoes, and then he threw for like this dick amount of yards. He won a Super Bowl, granted, but that was the defense that got him that Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Like he
Yeah,
sucked
for sure.
ass.
I mean, his arm was just gone, but
Yeah, and that's understandable. Like what was he, 39 or 40?
yeah, and he had that neck surgery. That was big on him.
Yeah, but well, the neck surgery, but he had the neck surgery 2 seasons ago. It was the neck surgery. Then he had his career year,
Yeah, I mean, it was just slowly weighing on him, I think.
and like people are like, "Oh, well, Brady does yoga." It's like I don't give a fuck what he does. He's like 42, man.
Yeah, I think he takes care of his body, and I do think it's something like why he's gonna be playing for a while. I think it does play into it,
Oh, for
but
sure.
it's gonna get you eventually. It just will.
Yeah, and like it's not. No one's saying. I'm not saying Brady's going to go out and throw 40 interceptions with 8 touchdowns. You're just going to see him digress. Like you're just going to see him digress. I know
But
he had a great year, but
the one thing I could play big in that is, I mean, what do you think about all these rumors with the possibility that Bill Belichick could be leaving?
yeah, and that's the thing too, because I think that Bill and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady kind of have like the special like father son NFL relationship.
They really do.
That
I mean,
weird thing. It's weird. They do because he's his baby. Like that's Tom Brady is Bill Belichick's baby. I think that was his first draft class, and he drafted Tom Brady out of Michigan. I think he made a point to draft Tom Brady. If not, I'm mistaken and I'm wrong. But I think that's what
I
happened.
mean, the thing is, I always was under the understanding that it didn't matter who a player was. If the team was going to be better with somebody else, they would go on with them. And I think a lot of people are under the impression that if they rolled the Jimmy Garoppolo with, Tom Brady going into his 40s, that'd be the best move for the team. And I don't know if Belichick made this call or Kraft made the call on that.
I heard it was Kraft. I heard it was Kraft. Where'd you go?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Yeah. Cool. You left off at Belichick, Kraft, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay. So, but sorry guys, little technical error there, but
Yeah, well, who's our fucking IT guy?
yeah, fucking ITP.
ITP. Oops.
But but anyway, I always, with Belichick, I always felt like he would move on with Garoppolo because he knows it's best for the team. Because that guy is an amazing talent. But the fact that they chose Brady, I mean, it could be a Kraft's choice, and that's up for debate. But if he really did choose Brady, that just kind of shows kind of bond that he's never had with any other player because he never commits to a player. Once they're not, it's like, what have you done for me lately? And if it's nothing, it's out. If you're not going to produce for me in the future, then you're out.
Yeah, then fuck you. Like, I don't need your shit.
Yeah. If
Which
you're
is
not
a
going to help
great
me next
mentality.
year,
Like, you don't want
it's something
to
you
have
need.
that. Yeah, you just and like I personally I think that like Kraft wanted Garoppolo gone. Like I think he
Yeah.
wanted to because he was gonna have to pay him huge if they didn't trade him.
Yeah,
So
I think he
Brady
wanted to
wasn't.
roll with Brady.
Yeah, but I mean, in hindsight, I think Belichick was going to take care of Brady. I'm not going to say he's going to like go to his house and make him soup, but like he was going to make sure he went to the right team or he didn't get
Yeah,
released in a horrible
I
way.
I agree. I think he would have made sure he went to the right team. I think he would have. Maybe Brady would have ended up on the 49ers. Who knows? Hometown team.
I absolutely think that's what would have happened, and they could have drafted a guy in the first. That's what I think would have happened. It would have been better for the Patriots in the end because now they're looking down the gun of like, well, our quarterback's getting kind of old and we have no replacement.
I agree, man. And I think that it would have been a great move for them to hold on to Garoppolo. And I think that's a move. Everything I read in that report, I heard a lot of it's not true. I mean, nobody knows really what happened there. But
No,
I
you
do
are in the
think that
room.
there's something to this. And I do think that it's always made sense to me for Belichick to want to move on to Garoppolo because it's better for the team.
I
And
think he wanted to, and the only reason he didn't move on sooner was because of Brady. I think he was just like, I love my little Brady bear, and like that's
I don't know
understandable.
though. I don't know though. I think that's a Kraft thing. I don't think. I really don't. I don't think Belichick would do that. I mean,
No, I'm saying the only
Brady's
reason he
something.
held on for him for so long, and Brady might have proven him wrong, but I'm saying like when everyone was like Brady's like 39 now, and Belichick's like he's our quarterback. Like I don't think that was a Kraft thing. I think Belichick was like, I love you. You're still going to prove it because they could have traded him like years ago, and Garoppolo could have been, they would have had the same shit. They could have gotten
I
more
think
trade
this was
value.
the. I think the plan was though to ride it out until they had to choose if they had to resign him or not, and if they saw something in Garoppolo, they're going to keep him. And there's no way they didn't see something in Garoppolo. That guy was amazing when he played, and look what he's done with the 49ers. There's no way they didn't see that.
I think it's also quick to note though that Jimmy Garoppolo was not. Everyone was like, "Oh, the Patriots find the best in anybody." It's like he was a highly touted quarterback prospect coming out of the draft. He was not this nobody. Like,
I
yes,
mean, he
he
was a
was a
six
second
round
round
pick.
pick.
Six round.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, I thought you said Brady.
Oh, if I did, I'm sorry. But Jimmy Garoppolo was not. He was no. I don't know. He was not a highly touted NFL draft prospect. Or, I'm sorry. He was
No,
a highly.
I
Excuse me.
felt the same way, man. I was like, everyone's like, it was like, yo, look at all the other backup quarterbacks. They did nothing. I'm like, oh, you mean Matt Castle, who was a seventh round pick and became
Oh,
an NFL
Jesus
starter in
Christ.
the league?
Who didn't play? I don't think he started at all
No,
in
he didn't
college.
start
He
since
didn't
high
start a
school.
single game. Yeah, he started more games pitching for USC than he did throwing the football.
I believe it.
That's
I mean, he didn't play
insane.
anything.
Remember
He
when
didn't start anything.
Brady got hurt and they literally went 11-5
He
with
became an
Matt
NFL
Castle.
starter. Yes, he's not a good NFL starter. He's still a backup now. He's one of the better backups in the league. This guy's a seventh
Absolutely.
round pick. You're telling me that that's not good, like development of quarterbacks?
That's insane. And also too with that, I think at a seventh round pick level, when you're taking quarterbacks, that's just like a fucking wild card. You're like, maybe.
Brian Hoyer became a starter. Ryan Mount sucked. He was a bust, but he still became a starter. Like,
He was a starter, and honestly, people gave so much credibility because they're like, well, you know what, man? He was on the Patriot system. They're like, he was. First of all, I think a lot of that was due to his like cocaine problem. He
yeah,
could have been
no,
so much
he was a
better.
fuck up. The break just got rid of him because he was a fuck up. They can't put that. Everyone was putting it on. Well, Ryan Mallett sucked. Ryan Mallett sucked. Matt Castle. These are stupid excuses, stupid reasons. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be good. Jimmy Garoppolo had one of the best releases as a rookie, one of the quickest releases in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was extremely good NFL prospect, and he trained underneath Brady for fucking 4 years. Like, oh, they shouldn't even get a second round pick for him. I heard stupid people say, I'm like, he got drafted for a second round pick. You're telling me he's not worth one now? He's only better.
Yeah, he's much better. He's not old either. He's 20. I'm sorry, I was actually just looking up quarterbacks taken ahead of Garoppolo. It's funny. Blake Bortles was taken. I guess that's just a mistake, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Blake Bortles.
I mean, we'll see what happens with him. He looked good towards the end of this year.
He just didn't throw a bazillion interceptions. I'm not going to call him good.
I'm not going to call him good, but I mean,
and then Johnny Manziel.
Yikes.
Yeah, and then Teddy Bridgewater, Derek Carr.
That was a good draft class.
Yeah, it was. And then Jimmy. Anyway, I mean, the important thing what I'm trying to get at is, like, I understand that the Patriots do make quarterbacks and players out of nothing. They just had their. But, like, you can't tell me Jimmy Garoppolo was this out of nothing quarterback. You can't compare him to Matt Castle. You can't compare him to anybody else because he was a fucking, like, stud, and they drafted him in the second round. They knew what they were doing when getting him.
Mm-hmm. And so. I don't know. Now it's all we're gonna have to figure out. This offseason, we're just gonna figure out what the truth is to this whole break. If Belichick wanted Garoppolo and if there's a power struggle with Kraft, I personally don't see Belichick coaching anywhere else, in my opinion.
No, I think he's only coaching. And, like, I know you're talking about, like, if he goes to the Giants or what. I think if he goes anywhere else, it's probably the Giants because you mentioned his fanhood, and I don't think he's going to go anywhere else for the pure fuck of it. I think he just has a professional motivation to New England, and I think that's the only reason he would stay in a coaching level.
I agree.
I don't think he's going to go to the Browns.
He built a dynasty there.
Exactly.
There's no reason to leave.
No reason to leave, and he has nothing to prove. No. If someone was like, he didn't win without the Patriots, who fucking cares?
No, everyone knows he's the best coach of all time. To me, it's not an argument. I was gonna say, I've talked to you about this before. The only scenario I see Belichick leaving, and I know there's some people out here who don't know as much about his background with the Giants. I mean, he was a defensive coordinator who won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. Is he
Lawrence Taylor's guy? Was he Lawrence Taylor's defensive coordinator? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can look up you can look up YouTube videos with him interviewing. There's videos of him crying, talking about his years with the Giants. You never see that man show emotion. He was a season ticket owner with the New York Giants until they tore down Giant Stadium. The Giants organization means a lot to the guy, and I think if he was to retire from coaching and he was offered like a Tom Coughlin situation, like what he got in Jacksonville to be like a vice president of player personnel in New York, I could see him taking it.
Yeah, and I think too, he might be at the point of his career where he's like, I don't want to fucking do this shit anymore.
Yeah, where he can just focus on one thing.
And also he might just want to bring fun back to football, like because I would hate to play in New England. That sounds unfun. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'd like to win, but I'm also pretty lazy, so I don't want to do that.
But at the same time, I would have expected him to try to get, like, if he had any thought of doing that, I'd expect him to have talked to Patricia or Daniels and try to get him to be one of their head coaches. But I don't see him leaving. I think
I don't see him leaving either.
I think there was some struggle, but I think Kraft and Belichick can swallow their pride, and I think they can move on.
I think that's what happens though between an owner and the de facto GM head coach. Like it's not like the owner, like look at the Lions. Like the owner doesn't, what the owner correlates with the president and then the GM, then the coach. Bill Belichick is literally all of those things. So of course there's going to be a little bit of a power struggle from the owner who's really detached from like player personnel. He's not out there every day, and Martha Ford is at the time, wasn't gonna like get in a power struggle with fucking Jim Caldwell and Bob Quinn. But it's just because of the situation they're in, where you can, and it's a good situation to have, where your coach can also be a de facto GM. Like he can also run shit from there. I don't know who the official GM of the Patriots is, but
it's Belichick.
No, he's de facto. I don't think he can carry the title.
Yeah, he's the GM.
Good for him.
But anyway, we've talked enough about the Patriots. Let's move on from
Yeah, enough
that.
enough for my likings. We should head up into Alex Smith.
Yep. Wow, man. We weren't. I wish we were doing it at the time because that was some crazy news. What do you think of that trade?
I thought it was good. I think they were able to get a competent like a competent NFL starter under a pretty good salary for what is going to be the norm in 4 years. I think they signed him with
23.5 million a year, man. That's crazy.
17 guaranteed. But think about it, dude. That's him for 4 years. Think about think about staff who just got paid big. Like it's only going up. It's only going up from there. And you just locked up a quarterback who has a lot of experience. And I don't know if it makes the Redskins any better. I don't know if they're going to get out of this rut of being like 7-9, 8-8, 9-7.
Yeah, but I mean, they already fucked up a situation so bad where I mean, that's the best case scenario for them. If you have to do $70 million guaranteed, and you have to give up a third round pick and a really good slot corner.
Yeah, a very good slot corner.
It's I think they overpaid, but I mean, at the same time, you're gonna pay. The market dictates the value of them, so.
Yeah, and like I get it. Like they don't. I think what helps them too is like it washes them. It washes their hands of having to go out and spend big money on a quarterback in the next 4 years. But don't get me wrong, they're gonna draft a quarterback in this draft. They are going to get a draft quarterback.
I agree.
Like, because Alex Smith is what 35 now, 33, I think.
They'll get somebody, even if they don't see one on the board they love. They'll take one in the 6th round and hope for the best, kind of thing. They'll get one at some point in this draft.
They'll take a quarterback every year for the next 4 years.
Unless they take one in the 1st or 2nd, then they'll probably.
No, I agree. Or
they could take one in the 1st this year. They could take like Baker Mayfield, which I think would be a good grab for them.
It wouldn't be a bad grab for them, and also too, a good thing that comes into the Redskins quarterback situation is our boy Colt McCoy. He's still a smart guy. I love Colt McCoy.
I would have loved to see him get his chance to start, but I mean,
I think he could have back in the day, but now he's just a backup now.
I guess
just a fucking backup.
I got you. So, what do you think happens with the Kirk Cousins now?
I think Kirk Cousins. I was just pulled up an article. I don't know when this got posted, but I pulled it up today. In light of our conversation, I think he just goes to the Broncos. It says here, Kirk Cousins would love for the Broncos to show interest in him. I know you were saying that the Browns could offer a little bit more money. I don't think there's a video on like Us Today or whatever that bullshit site is of Kirk Cousins and how frugal he is. I don't think that the money is going to attract him enough to a place where he knows that he can win. I think you go to the Browns, you're in a quarterback, you're in a division where you face the Steelers twice, the Ravens twice, the Bengals you play sometimes. But I just don't think it's an ideal situation. I would rather go to the West if I was Kirk Cousins.
Dude, the West is a good fucking division, though, man. You want to play against the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. Those are all good teams. Those are all teams that can make it to the playoffs.
I understand that, but I mean, just look how tight. Look at how tight the AFC West was last year. So it's like the Broncos are missing that one piece, and I think that big piece is the quarterback.
I agree with you, man. I mean, first of all, I think all these reports about they're close to getting a deal is bullshit because you literally aren't allowed to do that, and they're gonna lose a 1st-round pick if that's true.
Yeah, it's all malarkey, but it's fun to read. It's fun to look into, and that's kind of gauge what you're gonna do.
So this is the thing. So the Broncos right now are predicted to have about $28.5 million in cap space. I think it's going to take about that much to get him, and
it's going to take a good amount. He's going to want to get paid top. He wants that top dollar. I also cannot blame him either.
The Cleveland Browns have 111 million. I think they could offer him $30 million a year at the ease and go ahead and call it a day. And I think that's hard to say no to.
Definitely hard. I mean, the pros that I gave him for Cleveland are that they can give him more money, and that's his hometown area. Like he's from
Michigan. I think it's they're building something there, and if they get a quarterback, I mean, I know it's hard to say with the Browns, but I think you have some belief there. You got a good offensive line with Joe Thomas anchoring it. You got a ton of draft picks.
You got to think Joe Thomas is gone soon.
I don't know, man. I don't think if he hasn't left yet.
No, like Heatler retiring soon, man. Like he just came off an injury. I'm not saying
He's got
leaving.
his first injury.
He could have left a while ago. Ugh, froze again.
But it's his first injury of his
Yeah.
career.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm just wondering, longevity-wise, he's an offensive lineman. I'm not saying like he's gonna be like, oh, I don't want to play anymore. I just think that he might just want to be like, well, fuck this, I don't do this shit anymore. Like in like 3 or 4 years. But to be fair,
but
though,
that 3 or 4 years of a left tackle.
right? Yeah, no, I know that's true. And trust me, I'm on board with like the Browns what they're doing, like not drafting a quarterback every first pick they get.
Yeah.
It all started when they traded those picks away with the Tennessee, I think, or LA. So I think, I'm not saying it's 100% wrong. They can go to Cleveland. I think it's viable. I just don't. I think if I were Kirk Cousins, I would sign with the Broncos.
Yeah, I can't blame him for that. Thinking
Or
that
the Cardinals, or the Cardinals too. We just talked about Nick Foles.
Cardinals don't really have the cap space though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, forgot about that.
I'll say, man, the only teams I really think have the cap space to get him is Broncos because they're right there on that line, and I think there's something. I think there's a chance he could take a little bit less money to go there, not a lot less. The Bills are right there, but I don't know. Do you take a little bit less to go to the Bills? I don't see that really happening.
That's nothing. I mean, the reason why I would take it with the Broncos is look at the success they've had over the past couple of years. It wasn't 2 or 3 years ago they were a Super Bowl team. They were always contenders. You always have to watch out for the Broncos and that defense. But like the Bills don't excite me, and I know people are like, "Oh, well, what about the Browns? What are they excited about them?" Well, they're a new team, and they're getting some. I know they just came off an 0-16 season, and trust me, I know a guy who's a fan of a team that went 0-16.
I wonder who that is.
I don't know. Probably shitty life. But like, something's brewing up there, man. Like, you got to think they're gonna get the right thing in pretty soon. They're gonna have to. They're bound for a keg bomb. They have the O line, and their defense isn't terrible, by the way. They were top 10 in rushing defense until like week 12 last year.
They have so many draft picks, man. I don't think it's as bad of a spot as people think it is. But
No,
anyway,
I wouldn't want to play there. But
anyway, I mean, we know I think the Browns and the Broncos are two good favorites. Here's a couple more of the teams that I think could do it financially. The Jets.
Jets could do it. They got that
Jets
money.
could offer $30 million, and they could happen. The Vikings could not decide to go with none of their 3 quarterbacks and go that way. Who knows?
I mean,
I'd rather give Kirk Cousins $30 million than give fucking Case Keenum 25.
Oh fuck yeah, absolutely. I would do that all goddamn day.
And then one last team you can consider. What was the team? I think it was. Who was I looking at?
What about the Dolphins?
Dolphins don't quite have enough money.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of teams now. The Colts, maybe? Well, they have no money though.
The Bengals, if they move on from
Andy Dalton, which could be a very. I have the list that I texted you. You hit a good. I think we talked about almost all of them. The Packers, but I doubt I would.
I know the other team I was thinking of. What if the Saints decided to move on from Drew Brees in his old age?
Yeah, I believe it, dude. That would be a pretty. Is he still under contract? He's not a free agent though.
He's a free agent.
Is he? Drew Brees is a free agent. That's not a bad move, man. And honestly, it's the smart move. I know Drew Brees is a huge legend down in New Orleans, man. But if you can get a younger quarterback who can sling it like fucking no one's business.
Especially with that great young team you have, you don't want to be dealing with trying to find a quarterback.
In that defense, because Kirk Cousins is going to get ate up, man. He's the best quarterback in this market right now.
They're going to turn to a team with a great quarterback and a shitty team to a team with a great team and a shitty quarterback if they don't figure something out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nothing against Drew Brees. I mean, just be professional. Be like, thanks for what you did, Drew, but we're gonna move on. And he would understand. I think he would understand.
I think there would be some understanding there. He might even retire.
But think about the NFC South though. Like, there's 3 young quarterbacks there.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and let's move on to some of these head coaches.
Yes.
Let's start with your guy. If you guys didn't get some of these references so far. Ryan's a Lions fan. He actually got the guy I wanted for the Giants, I'm a Giants fan. But Patricia Detroit, what's your opinions?
I think it's an amazing choice, and I think it was a welcome.
All right, we're back.
Yay.
All right,
so
hang on, start over. We're right here. So Patricia Detroit, what do you think?
I think it was like the best. I mean, probably the best head coach you can probably get on the market. For what was available. Matt Patricia linked to Patriots. The Bill Belichick. His defense was top. I don't think they finished worse than top 10 in scoring. His 6 years as a defensive coordinator there. Lions defense desperately needs that motivation. They need that kind of energy.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it's a great ideal fit for the head coaching job because when Bob Quinn took over, he kind of took over and like he couldn't really fire Jim Caldwell. Like he couldn't be like move bitch, but like and then Jim Caldwell made the playoffs and he's like can't fire him. And now I think he has the opportunity to fire him and get his guy, the guy he knows, the guy he's worked with, and also too Bob Quinn's right hand man in the front office, Callahan, is a Harvard grad who lived with Matt Patricia. So I think that he's going to come into a system and an environment where he's very comfortable. He doesn't have to work on the offense too much. He's a defensive-minded guy. I know he has an offensive background as an O-lineman, RPI, but he's going to make some good hirings. I think he's going to bring that consistency because, as you know, the Lions haven't really moved out of that gutter of 8-8, 7-9, 9-7, 10-6. I think he's going to be the kind of consistent rock coach to get them to the level, and he's not going to change the offense too much because I don't think it needs to be.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even know if they fired Jim Caldwell from lack of success. I think he saw a chance to go get one of his guys in New England. I mean, this is the year that Patricia and McDaniels were going to get a job somewhere, and then I got to go get one of them.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I don't think it was 100% performance based from Jim Caldwell. I think a lot of the decision was that this was a guy that Bob Quinn in general felt comfortable with. And also, too, just bring that. I love the fact they're trying to bring in this New England moto into the Detroit locker room.
Everybody wants a little bit of that New England magic.
Absolutely, and you need it too. It's like in a team like Detroit, who's just such an enigma. I think it's going to do wonders for the Lions. What's your take on it?
All right, so I'm excited to give my take. So you know me, I was a big Patricia guy, so I have a lot to say about him as a coach. First of all, the guy was like aerospace engineer. The guy's a genius.
Oh yeah.
He turned down a six-figure job to make like $20,000 a year coaching college football.
Yeah, so my dad's company.
Yeah, he is a genius, and he's taken every bit of that brain and he's devoted to football. He's learned from the best mind in football of all time. I see a lot of Belichick in him, and I think
absolutely.
He's younger Belichick, dude. I think he has that type of potential. I've heard interviews of him last year when he interviewed around, and people said he was smart enough to be a GM. I think that he really has the potential to be something special for you guys. I think he'll bring a defense to that team. I know that he had a bad playoff performance in both the conference championship and the Super Bowl, but I don't think it means anything. It just happens in the playoffs, Super Bowl sometimes. I'm not going to put that on him, but I do think
teams too. I mean, and also too for the Super Bowl, you got to think he also didn't have Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, I
which is a
think
factor.
it is a factor. I do think there's going to be some growing struggles with him, and I think you guys got to give him time. I really hope you do. I really hope you are committed to him because the biggest mistake the Browns ever made was firing Belichick when he was trying to, develop as a coach, and they lost out on the greatest coach of all time. If they just gave him another couple of years, he would have been what he is now for them. And
No, I agree. You got to give any head coach who is new.
I don't think Patricia's ready, to be honest. I really don't. But
I think
I
he's
think,
I think he's ready to begin his process. I don't think he's
yeah,
ready to be an NFL head coach.
I don't think he would have lasted on he was gonna get a head coaching job sooner or later, and this was the year it was gonna happen. But sometimes you got to jump early on these guys to get them before you can't get them anymore, and
Yeah, he makes those Bill
that's what he
Belichick's of
did.
the world.
All right, so let's talk about another New England coordinator. What do you think about McDaniels to the Colts? Does this make any sense to you? Do you like this move?
I don't love it. Like I see it, but I really don't love it because, and a lot of that is just because there is no guarantee Andrew Luck is there for you when you get there.
That's my opinion, man. So my thought on it is it's different with other guys, but with Daniels, he's already failed as a head coach. You don't get three chances
Well,
to be a
you
head
saw
coach in
that,
this
yeah,
league.
you saw that, and it's like, are the Colts willing to ball out and just get this guy? I wouldn't do that.
You're betting on Andrew Luck being healthy, which I don't think anybody can bet on right now.
Yeah,
And I mean, the one thing I did think about though that kind of talked me into a little bit more is, I mean, that backup is Brissett. Brissett's is one of his guys. I mean, he
yeah.
coached Brissett. I mean, I think he could. I think that's not a worst case scenario for him. I don't think he'd mind rolling Brissett. Obviously, he's no Luck. I don't think that's why he signed with the Colts was to have Brissett. He
No, I don't
signed to
think so
have
either.
Luck, but I do think it's a good backup plan.
I think too with the Brissett thing, if that you can get a good enough coach who can work with the quarterbacks to solidify a average to above average quarterback for your team, you can kind of get like a little Seattle Seahawks going on there. He's not Russell Wilson, and I'm not saying that because he's black, but I'm just saying that because I think Brissett's pretty good. I think he's a pretty okay quarterback.
Yeah,
And if you can
he's
get
like Warren
McDaniel's,
Moon
yeah, exactly, and you can
or like Michael Vick.
I was like, maybe
And
not Warren Moon, but I was like, I like the enthusiasm, Monty. He's like Donovan McNabb, right?
Yeah.
Josh Freeman,
No, I
Jameis
really
Winston.
don't know who he is yet. It's too early in his career, but he's got
He's shown
he
facets of everybody though, so it's like it's kind of
I
hard to tell.
I didn't like him his first year. I thought he completely relied on his legs, but this year he took a big step up. So at the very
But what if he
least,
can
he'll
make
be.
more strides with McDaniel's and they can solidify him as he can be that the steady, consistent Alex Smith, Russell
No,
Wilson
I
type
don't think Alex
quarterback.
Smith is an awful comparison. Alex Smith has a little bit of legs still.
Oh yeah, he does. He's got those legs, man. But it's just because if you can get a reliable starting quarterback and build a team around that, but then at the same time, if you just have like a pretty decent quarterback with a head coach who only knows quarterbacks, what is your draft process after that?
Hmm.
Like, do you have to have super intelligent coordinators who are going to be head coaches in 2 years? Because that would just
Yeah.
not work.
All right. So let's move on and let's talk about my guy,
Fuck Josh McDaniels,
Shermer to the
Pat
Giants.
Shermer, my fucking man. I love Pat Shermer. I'm a big Pat Shermer fan. Thing is, he's been
So
tearing up the Lions for the past couple of years.
yeah. So I'll give you my thoughts on it.
I love
He
you.
wasn't my first guy. He wasn't my second choice, but I do think he was the right choice. That's how I'll put it.
Hey,
I
hey.
think
It's a good way to look at it.
I think he I after looking into it, I really do think he's going to develop a quarterback better than McDaniels can. McDaniels has done it with really good talent, and he's a good quarterback developer. But what Shermer's done with guys like Bradford, what he's done with guys like Keenum, what he's done with guys like Brian Hoyer, like
Mm-hmm.
I think that I really do think that Shermer can bring something to our offense. What he's did with Diggs, what he did with Thielen. Imagine what he's going to do with OBJ and what he's going to do with Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. I think he's going to make that offense crazy, what it should be, because everyone's been waiting for this offense to be what it should be. I think he's going to get a couple good years out of Eli, at least one more. Depending how long we roll with him, I'm hoping we draft a quarterback and he can really develop this quarterback for us.
You need to develop a quarterback, yeah.
And then they went outside and got Belcher, who's considered one of the best young defensive coordinators in the game. And I think he'll help them a lot, cover some of his weaknesses. I think Shurmur, as long as his personality isn't an issue, because I should say lack of personality, because there is none. As long as that's not an issue and he doesn't have a problem controlling the locker room, I think he's a good coach to have. That's my only worry about him. What's your opinion on him?
I am a huge Pat Shurmur fan, man.
Ray Shurmur.
Shurmur. You missed one important player of quarterbacks he's made amazing.
Who?
I want you to think.
Foles.
No.
Well, that was one.
We've talked. All right, fine, whatever. We talked about him earlier.
I did forget Foles. I should have mentioned him, but
we were talking about him during the Alex Smith conversation.
I don't know. Tell me.
Pat Shurmur had Colt McCoy have his best professional stint.
I forgot about Colby.
That's right. And I have
would never guess that.
Right in front of me. Colt McCoy, in his first year with the Browns, when Shurmur was there, in 13 games, he threw for 2,733 yards and 14 touchdowns. And that is in 13 games. And now he's a backup.
He was looking into an okay year until Jerome Harrison just gave him a CTE hit.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Till he made him half retarded.
I'm sure he was born.
Am I allowed to say that?
Sorry, you retarded people listening. I don't know.
Really hard R.
But anyway, and just to go off of like the whole, you just said the Nick Foles thing. I just looked up Nick Foles' breakout season with him there in Philadelphia. QB rating of 119.2, lowest interception percentage in NFL. Oh, sorry, third lowest in NFL history at 0.63, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and that was with him. I think he's just he can really work out an offense too, because in Minnesota when he was first hired, he was hired as a tight ends coach.
Yeah,
and then by the time yeah, exactly. So it's like that just shows. I think when that says it's like, oh, well, Minnesota sucked, they needed to hire somebody else. No, it just shows how well versed he is in offenses and how he can expose certain areas. Kyle Rudolph is probably not that great anywhere else, but he gets exposed so much with the Vikings, or did get exposed with the Vikings. And also too, another thing, I remember when Dalvin Cook went down, they threw in Latavius Murray and nothing changed. They actually stunted, dude. They went crazy. I loved it. This is a great hire for you guys. Let me just get to why it's a good hire for you guys. You guys can get another good year or two out of Eli Manning, and you can develop a quarterback that's going to mold your future. And he's going to make your offense very malleable in the situation.
Yeah. I mean, I think one guy I think the Giants might bring in, I think they might bring in his boy, Jerick McKinnon. I think he could add something to this offense.
I think so. And I want you to just give me 2 minutes. Tell me about our favorite player in NFL history, Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky,
Make a case for him to go to the Giants right now.
Okay. Well, I've been making this case to you for a while. Dan Orlovsky, I think.
Make it to Dan Orlovsky. Address it to Dan right now.
Dan, you need to become the QB coach of the New York Giants right now.
All right.
First of all, you're from Shelton, Connecticut, right down 95. You could go right near your hometown, go coach the New York Giants and start with Shurmur. He can teach you a lot about developing QBs. You can join the Andy Reid tree, which everybody wants a part of right now.
Good apples there.
And as far as the Giants, why the Giants want him, Dan Orlovsky has literally been getting a job in this league for the last 5 years because he is so smart. He is such a good players coach. And he really helps development of coaching. I mean, he literally just got a job with the Rams because they wanted to help develop Goff. Yeah, and they were like, all right, Goff's fine now. you're fine. He's like, all right, cool, and he left. I mean,
Yeah.
he gets paid. They just gave him everything they had left on their salary cap. It's like, here, you can have it if you want to help coach Goff. He is all the best head coaches are backup quarterbacks, and Dan Orlovsky has been one of the best backup quarterbacks, like legit backup quarterbacks, like guys who
Yeah.
are just
Yeah.
backups. He's
Absolutely.
been one of the best of our generation, and there's nothing
Exposure
wrong
from
with that.
teams. Dude, I would love Dan Orlovsky to go to the Giants be the QB coach. I mean, because he was pretty much the QB coach for the Lions when he was
Hmm.
there. I mean, love you, Dan Orlovsky. You never came to my house, but that's fine. You didn't have to, I guess.
And I don't want to
But
flip out as the offense coordinator, but everybody wants him.
yeah, but like, let's just be honest. DeFilippo could go to New York too. He could be like, "Well, I'm fucking done in Philadelphia. I'm gonna be OC." But I love Dan Orlovsky, and we were talking to your uncle about this at your graduation party. You know,
Yeah,
that is the only reason he was in the fucking NFL.
yeah, it was, and he's a
He was a
smart
competent
guy.
backup too. Like he wasn't like a dumb. Like he wouldn't throw it the other way.
I mean,
Like he was competent. He knew the game.
he might have brought the Lions to an 0-16 season, but he also saved the Colts from going 0-16. So
That 0-16 season with the Lions, a lot of people. that was a collaborative effort to be that
yeah.
bad. He just stepped out of the end zone one time. That's fine.
All right, so let's try to get through these last few head coaches.
For Mendizel.
All right,
All right.
so let me get into this guy was one of my favorite hires of the offseason. Mike
Wilkes?
Nagy.
Oh, Mike Nagy. Okay, go ahead.
Mike
Tell me
Nagy in
about Mike Nagy.
Chicago. I like him a lot, man. I think Nagy he's part of that Andy Reid coaching tree, which people can't get enough of right now. And I think what he did as offensive coordinator in Kansas City, he's going to do a lot of good things for this young Chicago team. I mean, first of all, he is going to help Trubisky a lot. He's going to run that West Coast offense, which I think is going to be great for that mobile, accurate quarterback that Trubisky is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to get a lot out of Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard, who are a great backfield.
Preach, girl.
I think Adam Shaheen, baby Gronk, is going to get
I love Adam Shaheen.
He's going to get a lot of Travis Kelce looks. He's going to help develop them. I think was a great hire, and I think that offense is going to look good very soon. What's your opinion on it?
Oh, pretty much it's just the same as yours.
Yeah, that's all right.
I mean, it's fine because I mean that's more than okay. A point I'd like to make is that I think Jarvis Landry goes to Chicago. I think he
I
does.
would love to see.
I think he's going to go because of McNaghy. I think because of all the points you just made, he's going to use that West Coast offense. And he's going to expand receivers. If Kevin White ever gets a leg again, I don't think he will. But they can expose guys like Tariq Cohen. Yeah, RIP. Tariq Cohen is going to get exposed because he's a fast little shifty guy that's going to work in that West Coast offense. And I really think that for the most part, he can expose guys like Dontrell Inman too, because Dontrell Inman's not this incredible threat, but you get him in the right system, get him those little turkey holes, those little fat screens, it'll be good. And I really think that he's going to resonate well with a young team like Chicago who has things to prove in a division that they've been getting their nuts kicked in.
I agree. I think there's a lot to like about him. Let's go a little bit into your guy,
Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel.
Yes, I knew you were going to ask about Mike Vrabel.
The guy that you wanted to go to the Lions originally. What do you think about Vrabel to the Titans?
It's a good play because I think that they're kind of set on offense. They kind of have their work cut out for them on offense. You have Marcus Mariota, you have Derrick Henry, you have a pretty good group of receivers. Corey Davis, Eric Decker's gone soon. Rashard Matthews is there. But I think he can really work on that defense. I don't know enough about the Titans defense to know their statistical numbers, but I know they weren't very good. I think that Vrabel's going to bring in that high energy, and it's going to be that young, gritty, something with an N, gritty team. And I think he's going to help out with that. My only concern with the Titans is that they are not a set team right now. So I think Vrabel with the Lions, he would have a little more room for error because he has defensive players like Ziggy Ansah, Tahir Whitehead, Paul Warlow, Darius Slay, guys like that, Glover Quinn. I think with the Titans, he's gonna Mike Vrabel is gonna make mistakes. He is definitely. You said Patricia's not ready. I think Vrabel is not ready, but I think his potential is. I think his potential is through the fucking roof. I think he's great. He did wonders at Ohio State, man. When he's a defensive coordinator, also did wonders. And when he played too, he was one of like Bill Belichick's favorite players. That is the title he probably didn't earn lightly. He always was like making jokes with Bill Belichick. I think that also stands to his character of who he is as a coach. I think that they're going to have an up tempo defense. They're going to be able to have that. You kind of taught in New England the bend don't break, and it's going to really help them. I could definitely see them doing worse than they did this year, though. I don't think this is a coaching decision to bring them from 9-7 to 11-5. I think it's to solidify a future for Tennessee, and I think it's going to have to go a little down before it goes back up. But I love Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, man, I agree.
Huge
I
fan.
think I think Vrabel has that type of personality, that type of it's just electric, and they
he's
do
young.
need help in the defense, and that's going to help. And he's just the type of guy who can really get the most out of his team. And I think, yes, he's a couple years away, but just like Patricia, he's the kind of guy you got to get while you can. And
get him now, man. Because if he
he's
got
not going
hired
to
anywhere else,
he's not going to the Titans next year. I'll tell you that.
No. Because you know why? People are going to be like, and a lot of the reason they didn't bring up Mike Vrabel at all is because there was always the head coaching swirl rumors out of Houston of Bill O'Brien. Because everyone's like, oh, is he going to leave? Which is stupid, by the way. Bill O'Brien's great. But I love Mike Vrabel. Go on, saying.
No, I think that's all needs to be said. I think there's a lot to like about Vrabel. So we got one more guy. This was a guy that was linked to the Giants all over the place.
Super not exciting guy.
He's not exciting, but
super unexciting.
He was like a last choice for the Cardinals. What do you think about Wilkes?
I'm just not that crazy about him.
No,
I think he's fine. It's just kind of weird because I don't. You're always remembering the Cardinals, and I guess I just thought they were going to go with like an offensive powerhouse coach.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go with a guy.
Yeah,
and I guess that they're giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're like, well, we're kind of done with that. We just got off of Bruce Arians, who's a quarterback guru, if any. Maybe it's time to just look at defense and slow off.
Yeah, I mean, they're thinking like we don't have an offense, so we might as well just try to be dominant on defense.
Yeah, which is fine. I think that's fine.
But this is I know a lot about Wilkes because he was scared to go to the Giants, so I'll talk a lot about him a little bit. So
I don't know him that much.
So Wilkes, a lot of people are calling him the next Mike Tomlin. He's a player's coach. He brings a lot of leadership. He's only had 1 year as a defensive coordinator. He's already proved himself into getting a head coaching job. Like, people love him. I mean, there's something to say about him. He gets along with his players. I mean, you can look at the Eagles this year. The Eagles were not the most talented team, and there was just something about like this camaraderie and
Jay Schwartz.
It's just a lot about it, and that's the kind of thing that Wilkes can bring to a team. And
I'm gonna look him up. Hold on.
Wilkes could be a good coach. I personally think they should have gone with the other guy they interviewed. I think they should have hired DeFlippo. I think DeFlippo is a year away as a head coach. I think he's a year away from being a head coach. I think he's getting an offensive coordinator job this offseason and then immediately get signed away as a head coach, in my opinion. That's what I think will happen.
I just said that's why you got to jump on those guys, though, man, because he's going to be offensive coordinator than a coach.
And like I keep talking about, everybody wants is getting that Andy Reid coaching tree because it is a great coaching tree, and he's just another part of it, man. I mean, if you look what he's done with Wentz, if you look what he did with Foles, now even more, I would want to hire him.
And Andy Reid actually, sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Little caveat: when Nick Foles was contemplating like quitting the NFL, when he came back, he said, "I'm only going to play for Andy Reid." And he went to Kansas City, and when he had that one game where he just threw 4 touchdowns and like no picks. And it's like so that's just the Andy Reid atmosphere. Andy Reid is like our generation's Tony Dungy of head coaching tree wise.
He's great, man. I think that I think that Andy Reid tree is a lot, and as like a last choice, I think he is a better fit, but I don't think Wilkes is a bad choice. He doesn't excite me like the rest of the group. I'll say that.
I mean, I haven't pulled up right now. Like I just remember when I looked into him a little bit ago, I was like, okay, maybe he could solidify a team, but nothing sticks out about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing excites me. Like what excited me about Vrabel was his high octane and his potential was through the roof. What excited me about Sherman was that he can make any offense good. Like he put him in an offense, it's going to be good, or it should be good. It's going to be malleable. Like it's going to be it could form to what they need to do. Very dynamic. Except for Patricia, obvious reasons, New England ties. He's that consistent guy, defensive minded powerhouse. Nagy, offensive coordinator, can really expose where he can. I was more so about. To be fair, I was more so about Nagy because of the Bears. I was more so about what he'll bring to the Bears in that offense. But
Mm-hmm.
just nothing exciting about Steve Wilkes.
All right, so let's go ahead. I think we went over all of the head coaches,
Oh
and
wait,
that
one more thing about head coaches. I
yeah,
think Jim Caldwell deserves a job somewhere. Get
yeah,
Jim Caldwell a job.
as an offensive coordinator, QB coach, something.
Yeah,
Uh,
be a QB
I
coach, buddy. Don't head coach anymore. Don't stress.
yeah, I agree. But so all right, so that's for the first episode. We weren't trying to dive straight into the draft. Don't worry, guys. There's gonna be plenty of draft stuff. We just really wanted to make sure we were ready for you guys to give you great draft information. We didn't want to just jump into and just BS it. We wanted to talk what we really knew about, what we've been talking about a lot late recently. Get that out of the way, and we're gonna get in the draft stuff. So we're gonna go over some QB prospects next week. We got a good foundation on that. And then we're
Love
also going
QB
to,
prospects.
yeah, and then we're also going to try to rebuild the Browns. We already, we talked about it a little bit now. So
I love
me
it.
and Ryan are going to come up with our plans to rebuild the Browns. They looks like they already started it. I liked what they did with their front office. So
Yeah, I like it
let's,
too. Hiring a lot of the Kansas City assistants. That was good. I just want to just put out a disclaimer. I think that we're doing a really good job, and it's going to be sad when the Browns hire us for front office work
yeah,
when they listen to this pod. I know they're big listeners.
yeah.
But yeah, and then just to piggyback off what you said, I think that while this wasn't a direct correlation of the NFL draft, I think this does impact the draft immensely. So this is draft related. Viva La Stool. Saturdays are for the good boys. Hi, Rose. Wait, can you see my dog? There you go. Anyway, I think that was, as you said, we didn't want to fucking stumble over our words, what I just did. And I think we wanted to do something that related to the draft, but wasn't completely about the draft because we didn't have enough research in. I think it was fucking awesome, though.
All right, man. So we'll talk to you guys next week. You just listen to We Have It on Draft.
That's right, baby. Have a good night, everyone.